Good morning and welcome to Rose Red Homestead. Today we're going to do a very special recipe of peach jam, and I'm going to show you what that surprise is in just a moment. As you all know, our community focuses on pretty much three things: self-reliance, food security, and emergency preparedness. And this video pretty much goes to all three. We are having a good harvest in our area of peaches. A local farmer has a stand just on our way to work, actually. And so we have purchased, I don't know, 4 or 5 flats of peaches, and we've done several things and made, 2 or 3 videos already. This one is going to be about peach jam. And so having peach jam on our shelves is really a good way to increase our self-reliance, because we've done this ourselves, our food security, to have it available, and especially in emergencies when it might be very nice to have some jams on our shelf. So we will get started with this project in just a moment. Just a few minutes ago, I slipped the skins on 10 peaches, and I only needed 4 cups. We always do jams in small batches, and I had 4 left, so this was the size that I used. Now, these peaches don't seem to be turning brown when in contact with oxygen, at least not very quickly, so I have not used any type of an ingredient to preserve the color. So I have 4 cups right here, and I just cut them in really tiny pieces. I'm using my jam pan. This is a fabulous pan. It is called a Maslin, M-A-S-L-I-N, a Maslin pan. And it's especially made for making jams, although I use it for everything. It's about my most favorite pot ever. It has an extra handle on one side and a little pour spout here, and it has a measuring scale. So it's very, very convenient. Also notice the construction. It's a little bit angled in, and so the pot bottom is extra heavy, so it conducts heat well without burning, and then it's wide open so that the steam can escape and the jam can boil down. I had promised that I would be using Sure Gel with a peach jam recipe, and I still might, but the thing about using any kind of commercially prepared pectin is that the directions have to be followed exactly, or it may not work, and I've had that happen a number of times. So I am reverting today to my old standby jam recipe, and I'm going to explain to you what that is, because we're going to do a little experiment today. So I'm just going to take this 4 cups of peaches and put them in my jam pan. And I have 4 cups of sugar. So when I just do my own way of doing jam, I use 4 and 4. 4 fruit, 4 sugar. And so I'm just going to put the sugar in as well. And my method is a little bit different, but it works. And so that's what it looks like inside the pan. Now, it also calls for the juice of 1 lemon. Now, lemon juice is for the purpose of adding additional pectin. Pectin is a natural substance. It is made from the cell walls of citrus peels, and it also is in citrus juice and also in apples. Since we have recently powdered lemon, and this is the one that, this powder is the powder that had more of the peels in it, so it would have more of the pectin. Even though vitamin C is lost in heat when we do citrus, the pectin is not lost because it's part of the cell wall, which is cellulose. And so I'm going to put 2 tablespoons, instead of the fresh lemon juice, I'm putting 2 tablespoons of my lemon powder in here to add a little additional pectin. Peaches are a little bit low in natural pectin, but all fruits have natural pectin. And so I wanted a little bit more to add some extra pectin. If I were just doing this with a fruit other than peaches, then I would add 1 tablespoon of that lemon powder to replace the fresh lemon juice. So I'm going to put this over on the stove on low so that the liquid can start to develop. Then we will cook this until it is ready to put into our jars. And so we'll meet over by the stove. So this has been on the heat about a minute. I stirred the sugar and the peaches together along with the lemon powder. And I'm using a potato masher to kind of mash up the peaches. We like our jam with a little bit of lumps, but not total lumps. Now, I promised you red hot peach jelly. So here we have red hot, the secret ingredient, and I'm going to put in about a half a cup of red hots. So they are sugared, and so as this sugar melts, these red hots are going to also melt and spread their flavor throughout the jam. So I'm just going to keep doing this. We'll bring you back periodically. We're going to test this. I'll show you a testing system that I have found works best for me. There are many ways to test when jam is ready. And remember, we are using the natural pectin, so it is going to take a little bit longer to cook. I like to use natural pectin in the fruit. We'll be back. So here it's boiling. Now I have the pot on level 6 out of 9 on my stovetop. It's a medium boil. The heavy bottom on this pan prevents burning, although not completely, so I still watch it. Is this going to be a gorgeous color or what? So we see the influence of the red hots in the color. I can also smell it, and I've taken a little taste. The peach comes through loud and clear with that touch of the red hot cinnamon candies, and it is spectacular. Now, one more thing that I always do when I do a recipe that deviates from instructions either on a pectin box or from the USDA is because I'm going to use my litmus paper to test the acidity, and I want it to be below 4.6, or we're going to have to add more acid to lower that acid. So I'm just going to stick the paper in here and then compare it. It should be either 1, 2, 3, or 4. If it's starting to turn more orange than red, then we're in trouble. And so I'm thinking it probably is somewhere between a 3 and a 4. So we're in the safety zone. So this jam is going to be perfectly okay to water bath can. And so I'm going to keep at this, and I will bring you back. I can tell by the boiling that it's not ready yet. It just drips quickly off the spoon. If it doesn't drip so fast and looks more thick, then we're getting close to being ready. So bring you back soon. Notice the nature of the bubbles has changed. And if you can tell, it's quite a bit thicker. So let's do our drip test. It's not rolling off like water. Notice how it slows down and 2 form into 1 and they're slower. That's a good sign that it's getting close. This little plate I just took out of the freezer, so it is very cold. And so I'm going to do the cold test. And so we put a little bit on a cold plate, let it sit for just a minute. I am going to turn this down because I don't want it to burn. I'm going to push it. If I can see wrinkles at the front, then it's getting close. Or if I draw a highway through the middle of it, and that highway doesn't start moving back together again, then it's also getting close. So we're not quite there yet, but we are getting very close. I have 2 more plates in the freezer so that I can always pull out a super cold one. So look at the nature of the bubbling now. It has really changed even from last time. Now let's do a spoon test. It has thickened. Here's the plate test. I think we're just about there. Let that cool for just a second. We want to keep this hot. I think we're going to have maybe 4 jars. With a little luck, maybe part of a 5th. All right, we're going. All right, I am pouring. Usually I can hit the jar without a funnel, but this is extra thick, so I am going to use a funnel. And with jams, you can fill them just a little bit more full. less headspace. Oh, this is beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I am thinking of doing these for Christmas presents for people in my office, for my team. Almost perfect. There's a little bit left in here. We'll just let it sit in the pan. That one is too full. Okay, I have lids and rings ready. Wiping the rims. Oh, this is gorgeous. All right, I have some water in this pot. It's probably about halfway up. Now to do true water bath canning, and I have a little rack in the bottom there, true water bath canning calls for the water to be up over the tops of the jars. So we are going to do just exactly that. So I'm going to fill this up over the top of these jars, about an inch, which is almost to the very top of that pot insert. And I have just a regular glass lid that fits. And once this comes back to a boil, then we will time it for 10 minutes and then we'll take them out. So we'll come back then. So the buzzer just went off and it is still boiling away. I'm going to turn the canner off. Now to get my Instant Pot to, this is my old one, to where it would boil the water, I just did manual. And on manual, it just turns the thing on and it does whatever you want. And I set it for 45 minutes just because I wanted a huge chunk of time to be sure that I could get my 10 minutes in and heat up the water first as well. So these are ready. Look at that. So beautiful. Okay, I want to show you the jam that was left over in the pot. It's set up beautifully. We just had one pop. And Jim, I washed the spoon, but Jim was using this to taste test it and then said, oh, wait, I think I need another test. And, oh, I better do that again. And so he would smack his lips together and say, let me see, and then give a beautiful description of how it tastes. According to him, it tastes like peaches, and then toward the end, the red hot flavor just comes through. So that was a lot of fun. So this will probably be gone by the end of the day. Now I wanted to just give you a quick comparison with Sure Gel. Oh, there went one too. Now, had I followed the Sure Gel recipe, I just want to read it to you. Remember, I did 4 fruit and 4 sugar. And so the Sure Gel recipe for peach jam calls for 3 cups, that's 1 cup less, finely chopped peaches, 2 tablespoons fresh lemon juice, 4.5 cups of sugar. So it was a little less peaches and a little more sugar. And so we did, this is just my standard go-to recipe for making jam. 4 fruit, 4 sugar, and the juice of 1 lemon is what I usually do. But in this case, I used the 2 tablespoons of the lemon powder, which just worked beautifully. And then we flavored it, of course, with the Red Hots. So this is such an exciting experiment. Worked very well. I have washed my pots and have everything ready. I'm going to keep doing more batches of this. I'm going to make my Christmas gifts today. And so they will be all ready in time for Christmas, and I won't have to even worry about it at the end or get nervous. So a great way to do peaches. And here's a little secret. If you don't have peaches in your area, you can do the same thing with frozen peaches. You just put them in the pot and let them thaw before you then put the sugar and everything else in. So thank you for joining us and have a happy day, and we'll see you at our next video. Just a bit ago, I slipped the skins on 10 tomato, 10
Peaches.
Thank you, honey. I appreciate that so much. I looked at these and said tomatoes. I don't know how come I did that.
I don't know either. Yeah, you're okay. Okay, back to peaches, or is it tomatoes?